some motor running. Head out on the highway, looking for adventure.
It's a little cliche, but I had to do it. I had to do it.
So you were gonna play Justin Bieber for the bikers?
Inside.
Or Bad to the Bone.
Yeah, well, Bad to the Bone is
Bum,
another
bum,
one.
Road.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that next. Baca, the Bikers Against Child Abuse, in the studio is Butch, and I'm so excited about this. Ghost Rider. I've been excited to meet Ghost Rider. I went. This
Keep
is
saying it with your movie premiere guy voice.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider.
Ghost. Well, I mean, when you see Ghost Rider, it almost feels like that would be the proper way to introduce it. This is Ghost Rider.
Is that because I almost look dead?
No, because you're a big guy. You look like a big, tough biker guy. Which, by the way, this is a very nice thing that you guys do with Baca, because I always think that when I say, okay, bikers against child abuse, but bikers, we think of, rough kind of guys. We think of shows like, what was the show?
Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy, that kind of thing. And you're not really thinking about people who are looking out for children, right? Exactly. But I even knew guys who were in the Hells Angels and stuff, and they all had a very family side, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So that was the... but tell me about Baca and how it came to be and what the purpose is.
Okay, so Baca started in 1995. He was a clinical social worker and a licensed play therapist in Utah.
Okay.
He had been working with abused children for about 20 years or so.
Okay.
And just realized that even after his time with them, that the perps were still getting to these children. They were still inflicting fear in these children. So he had positive experiences with bikers, probably through his father or something, and as a child. So he got some biker friends together, and they went over to a child's house and gave him the commitment to be there for him, and Baca was formed. And now, 28 years later, we're in 47 states and 18 countries.
Yeah. And this is the chapter out of Rochester. It's the Rochester chapter.
We have 8 chapters in New York State.
You have 8 chapters in New York State. How many members are in the Rochester?
We don't talk numbers.
Okay.
Enough to run the mission.
Enough to run it, yeah. And so how do people donate then if I wanted to, let's say you're doing a ride, how do we sponsor that?
So we particularly as our chapter, we don't do a ride. We're doing a spaghetti dinner this year. It's going to be our fundraiser. That's April 7th at the Moose Lodge on West Henrietta Road.
Wait, Danny was just at the Moose Lodge.
No, it's the one in Churchville.
Oh,
I love the Moose Lodge. Henrietta.
Yeah.
Yeah, not sure.
Leroy's the best, but Henrietta's a second, solid second.
It's big.
The Moose Lodge.
They're very good to us.
They are
Yeah,
good people there.
the Moose Lodge sounds like they've got great people doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So the spaghetti dinner open to anybody?
Open to anybody.
Really?
Yep.
With $15.
That's it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Homemade meatballs, sausage, pasta, salad.
What are you making?
I greet people.
Room for seconds. He's making room for seconds.
No, I didn't know. I didn't know if he was like making the meat. If you
He's
told
like
me,
our Walmart
No,
greeter.
we got Italians making the
yeah, but if
meatballs.
Ghost Rider sends me, I got a great meatball recipe. I'm believing it. I think it's probably
He
maybe
talks about
garlic-
cooking a lot, actually.
Do you?
No, I eat.
Well, no cooking.
Except chili.
Not much.
He cooks.
So okay,
Yeah, I make chili.
what is the purpose of this? It sounds interesting, and I kind of like it. So it was created to support kids who are having a tough time, but a lot of times child abuse is happening in the home.
Yes.
And it's not really talked about.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking now, it was a million years ago. I went to school, but I remember a kid showing up with still his dad's handprint on his face. And he had a twin brother, and his twin brother goes, yeah, we were wrestling with dad, and things got out of hand. And this is like 3rd grade. Now, I believe if you showed up at school with a red handprint on your face, they're mandatory reporters, so they have to say something, which is a good thing. That's a positive that we're going in the right direction. Because a lot of times these kids, it's got to be the most confusing thing in the world. The people that I love that provide me with the things I need are also the ones who scare the shit out of me and all that. And I know that parenting is a very, very difficult thing. You guys both... Yeah.
Yep.
Grandparents.
Grandparents. You're
I'm not
no. Yeah. So it's one of these things where probably the grandparent stage is going to be very nice because you get to give the kid back.
Sugar him up and hand him back.
Send him home.
It's like a rental.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking, Ghost Rider. It's a rental. But it's one of these where, you never want to tell anybody to parent, but you don't want to see a kid abused either. So can you get the parent into some kind of parent coaching? Like, hey, give yourself. I mean, there are times where you feel like you're losing your mind. So, try to step outside, give yourself a breather here, and then come back in. Do you guys help people find those types of situations?
So our mission is to empower abused children, not to fear the world in which they live.
Okay.
So part of our main criteria in taking a case is one, that the case has been reported.
Okay.
You don't want mom and dad are fighting for custody, and now somebody's going, "Wow, he hit Johnny in the head." So we don't do that. The other thing is they need to be living in fear, and the second or third actually is that they can't be living with the perp. If they're living with the perpetrator, we're only going to make it worse.
Right.
So. Our kid, we're not vigilantes. We're not going in and plucking kids out of homes. It's really up to.
But I gotta say, if I knew, like, let's say I was reported for abusing my kid, like I beat him up pretty good, and then all of a sudden I'm out of the house or whatever, and I hear Bacchus coming. I pull in one day to pick up the kids. And I see Ghost Rider sitting out by the mailbox, I might not be fucking around so much. You know what I'm saying?
We've got to be very careful with that situation.
Sure you do.
Our biggest thing that we do is escort the children to court.
Yes.
We go to court for all the pre-courts and everything. And in the summertime when we're riding, when we escort the kid to court, there may be 20 bikes there with the kid in the middle.
Yeah.
People think the fucking president's coming to town. And they're built up so much.
Right.
And they've been around us so much. They feel so good. When they go to court, the perp's attorney subpoenas everybody.
Yeah.
So the child's got to go in there by themselves.
Oh.
They can't subpoena me. Ghost Rider doesn't exist.
Right.
That's the reason for the road names.
Yeah.
So we're always in court. We deal real closely with the DAs.
Yeah.
All the advocacies and all that. That's where we really make the impression is to get the kids strong enough to go testify in court because everybody's scared to go to court.
Well, it's not just that. They're also talking about somebody who they probably have all kinds of twisted feelings about, right? I love my whomever.
That can be very difficult when it happens to be family members.
Right.
And one of the biggest things is someone let these children down. Usually their parents or someone really let them down and disappoint them. One of our biggest things is we make sure we never will.
Yeah.
If we say we're going to be there, we're there. If we're going... Our area goes from Lake Ontario to the Pennsylvania border. So if we're going to see a kid like down in Elmira and we're driving down the road and I'm checking my GPS and it says, oh, shit, we're running late.
Yeah.
We'll run 90 miles an hour. And now someone says, oh, shit, we're too fast. We'll slow down to 40 miles an hour. We get there when we say we're going to get there. Only once in a while.
Now, what happens if a kid says, I'm being bullied?
There's nothing we can do. If you're bullying this person,
He does.
then we go after you. Then we're nothing but bullies ourselves.
Yeah, but what if it's a
situation?
What if it's a teacher in a school? Well, usually that's not going to happen. Somebody else would jump in. It's got to be a very fine line as to what.
We have to be very careful because we don't want to lose the ability that we have to do things.
Right.
Like Butch says, we're not vigilantes. There's nothing we can do about it.
Right.
We're not even fucking role models.
Yeah.
We're just there to empower these children to go to court. When it's time to take your child to
I think
court,
showing up
do you want us to go or do you want your CPA to go?
Yeah. I hear you. But I would, but I would say
got his
that
briefcase.
I would say you're a role model in that for the kid, showing them that people are there and keep their word. That's a nice thing.
It's really a 3-part system that we have going. It takes BACA. It takes the good agencies, the good counseling, and hopefully a good family.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we do not see the good family.
Well, I was just going to say, I think a lot of times, when we think of abuse, I would think that a lot of people go, well, we'll think poorer stuff, but I believe there's very similarities between the two extremes of our economic system, the extremely rich and the extremely. There's a lot of similarities. You know what I mean? You're raised by somebody else. You're raised by somebody else. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't be surprised if there was abused kids all over the socioeconomic
I would
strata, right? But the family stuff is tough, and that's the hard thing with for these kids because they don't know who to rely on. They're just kids,
and that's who we try to be.
Yeah,
the people that they can rely on.
Yeah,
even like you said, when we say we're going to be there, I don't say I'm going to be there. If I'm a primary to a child, I don't say, "Oh, I'm going to be there," because what if I get sick? What if I get hurt? Something keeps me. So we always tell them Baca's going to be there, and somebody is going to be there. Usually a group of us.
Yeah.
When we roll into court, we roll in with the full chapter. I mean, there's a lot of people there, and
it's got to be intimidating a little bit. No, just a little bit. I mean, that's a bad thing. I'm just saying. You know,
I'm going to take the fifth.
I like to say that we're not there as a sign of intimidation,
but support.
The we're a sign of strength for the child, so that they can get up there and do what they got to do.
Oh, you're doing a lot of good for bikers. You know, I come from a world where there were no bikers. My parents were teachers and educators and that sort of thing. But being on radio and being around. Some of the sweetest, kindest people were the ones that were bikers and stuff. There were honestly, like, when I would go and hang out when I was on the radio at the tattoo parlor, I used to love to. I would go and eat lunch and hang out with Joe T in the back, and I loved T, loved that guy. And he had a huge heart and all the stuff that he did, and so I always thought, man, this idea of where we judge a book by its cover kind of thing is ridiculous, and you really got to. I think it's awesome that you're doing this stuff.
Thank you. So, we're trying to – we bring them in. They're part of our family. We're family. Over the summer, I probably spend more time with Ghost Rider than I do with my wife.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, my wife is
your wife thanks Ghost Rider.
150% of – I'm probably thinking me.
We have women in Baca, too.
Yeah.
My wife's in Baca. We got to have women in there to – the kids. Some kids just don't – they're scared of the men.
Yeah.
So we do have women in. And actually, sometimes he spends more time with my wife than I do because they're primaries together on a bunch of cases.
Yeah.
But just to get into Baca, you got to come to 3 consecutive churches, which is our meeting, and then I fingerprint you.
And they run a background check?
Yeah. I don't want no child molesters in there. And, obviously, you can't have any child molestation.
Right.
No domestic abuse.
Right.
You can't even be back on child support. Because if you can't take care of your own kids, you can't take care of our kids.
Right.
The rest of the crimes, who cares? You're a biker.
Have you had?
Seriously, if you got
insider trading,
you got a lot of breaking and enterings, that kind of stuff. All right.
Yeah.
I'll put on the folder. Don't let them be a treasurer. Don't let them handle the money.
Yeah.
But he might be great for something else.
He may be, and who knows? Well, the problem is that a lot of people make mistakes somewhere along the line, and. That's my whole what I really dislike about the cancel culture idea is that if we're supposed to be evolving and making things better, why are we going to cut you out because you're wrong? Why not do? I really do like what you just said. If the guys breaking and entering, don't make him the treasurer. Yeah. But he could have done it 20 years ago when he was 18. And now he's 38, and he's not doing that sort of thing. And he's been a business, held a job, did all this stuff. And yet, of course, we would look back, and that would be the automatic thing. I have to, I would even think assault, right?
Yes. I don't mind assault.
No, that's what I mean. Like, if somebody got in a fight and arrested for a fight in a bar.
There's a lot of stupid charges out there.
Yeah, a ton.
I've got the file for New York State charges, and it's probably inch thick. With all the different variations and all that stuff. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that's just the start of it. Once you got your fingerprints come back through and our board approves you, then you got 6 to 9 months of online training before you can...
Training to do what?
How to handle the kids.
Okay.
What to do with the kids, court behavior.
Yeah.
Different positions, because we have a lot of different positions in Baca.
Gotcha.
How to talk to bikers if you're not a biker.
Yeah.
All different stuff.
Really? How to talk to bikers if you're not a biker. Yeah. What would I learn in that?
Take your sunglasses off, take your gloves off, don't interrupt.
Yeah. Wait, so
really,
is this,
it's mostly just common sense.
wait, hang on. This is for bikers, how to talk to people who are non-bikers,
This
is what
is
you're
for
saying.
people wanting to join BACA. They may
Yes.
be bikers.
They
but
may be bikers.
They
I gotcha.
may not be familiar with MCs.
I got you. I understand what you're saying. So you're saying to somebody who's a biker who, and now you're going to be talking to DAs, lawyers, whatever. Take your sunglasses. I think that actually is, I think that's actually smart. You know, I mean, just as a thing, everybody was shocked in the NFL that when the 49ers players stood up and said, we didn't understand the rules for overtime.
Yeah.
Right? And the other team had sat down and gone over the rules for overtime a couple times. It's the same thing here. You know, you could walk in and go, I had no idea. Well, then you make us look, all of us look bad. Yeah. So let's try to be uniform. Yeah.
Well, I have very few fears in life.
I can't imagine.
Clowns and nuns.
Really?
Clowns and nuns. Or
what did a nun do to you at 8 years old?
yeah, like I went to a Catholic school.
I don't know if you did. Maybe you did.
But the biggest fear is that one of my people are going to screw up in court and get a case thrown out.
Yeah.
Dismissed.
Yeah.
That's one of my biggest fears. Our guys know enough, and women, they do not talk when we're in court.
Yeah.
You don't talk to anybody. You're there. You're surrounding the kids. You play with the kids. You keep the kid distracted. Everything it takes to get them ready to go into the courtroom.
I know you said you don't talk numbers. I will ask this question. If the answer is the same, forgive me. But roughly how many cases are you handling a year?
That's a number we definitely don't talk about.
Oh, you don't talk about. Okay.
Definitely don't talk about that one.
Do you ever work with what's the agency downtown? And they're mostly Bavona, yeah.
We worked with Bavona very strong in the beginning.
Yeah.
When we came here, we do the Bavona Summit that they have once a year.
Yeah.
Between COVID and all that stuff, it kind of distanced everybody from things.
Yeah, it did.
We deal with Bavona. We deal with CAC of the Finger Lakes, Catholic Charities.
Yeah.
Safe
These
Harbors.
agencies,
Yeah, because
Aspire Hope, New York.
I think
there's a lot of
I always
agencies
liked
out there.
Bavona for the fact that, a child who had been sexually abused, you got to talk to the police officer, has to do an interview, and a psychologist, and all these different, a doctor does an exam. They just put the kid behind two-way glass, one person, one interview, everybody's on the other side, hears it all, and so that everybody gets the information that they're looking for.
CAC does the same thing.
A
lot of them,
great
they
move.
have their own room where they can go in there and do everything they need to do.
Yeah.
Right there. So it's, kind of like one-stop shopping, I guess.
Yes. Well, it is. And I think that's great for the kid because they're telling the story. And then you also don't know when you go, hey, honey, what's being said to the kid when they're not with, the authorities. It's like what's getting fed into their head on stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a scary thing. I did some stuff with Bavona. I was abused as a child, sexually abused as a child, so I had spoken at a couple of their things. And I was really impressed by that organization, and I thought that might be one you may have worked with.
They're huge. Every year they take on a little bit different role.
Okay.
They're more into the educational end of it now.
Yeah.
Their summit, they bring people in, agencies from all over the state.
Yes.
Come to that.
Okay.
They've definitely grown a lot in the last few years.
How many years? Here's a number question again. May I ask how many years you have been involved?
Myself,
Ghost Rider?
Going on like 7 years.
7 years.
Rochester's been patched in for almost 9.
Yeah. So Butch, all 9 for you?
2.
2 for you.
Yes.
Look at his patch. It's white as can be. We earn our dirt.
His is pretty dirty.
Mine's gray.
Yeah. Okay. So you've been doing so. What got you in?
Someone I knew was going to a meeting.
Yeah. And said, would you like to check this out? And you said,
we went and checked it out, and it's like, holy shit, this is a great cause.
Yeah.
And then it just carried on from there.
Sucks you in.
Sucks you in. But how can it not, right? I mean, you got kids. No one likes seeing this.
Especially the first time you go and do a level 1 and you meet these kids.
What's a level 1?
I was just going to ask him that.
A level 1 is the first time the child meets the entire chapter.
Okay.
That's when they're assigned their primaries. The primaries are patched members who are their 24/7, 365 contact.
So if the kid is old enough to have a phone, can they contact you?
The 2 primaries, all the time.
2 primaries, yep.
Okay.
So usually we always do it in a group. So it's a group text.
Yep.
If it's a phone call, hopefully we got three-way calling. But usually, most of the kids use text.
Yeah,
these
they
days.
do. Yeah.
Then we give them a few things, which I'll show you here in a second, and then we do what the kid wants to do. We play a lot of kickball.
Yeah.
When
was the last? Hang on. I got a
When
question.
was the last time you played Barbies?
I want to know.
We've had freaking makeup put on.
God damn.
That's why he hates clowns.
We were driving down the road. Myself and two other members afterwards, we'd all split off, and it's like, I got to go and wash this shit off so I can go get a drink. We're flying down the road, and I'm, screw this shit. We're doing 90 to 100 down 490. I'm just hoping to get pulled over so the cop can look at us and laugh.
So, when was the last time you played kickball prior to this? I was just wondering.
I don't know. I didn't go to school, so maybe never.
What do you mean you didn't go to
I
school?
didn't go to school very often.
Drop out at 16?
Kicked out, yeah. 16.
Kicked out? Yeah.
Didn't go before then.
Didn't go. Where was that?
Victor.
Victor.
Yeah.
Good school district.
Real good. My daughter and grandkids have all graduated.
Yeah, probably very proud of that. I would think. Good schools, and maybe have anybody gone on to education beyond Victor?
Yeah, my daughter's going to college. My oldest grandson's going to, I think, Brockport next year.
There you go. Look at this. And see. Well, here's what I believe, and I've said this on this podcast. I have one son who's going to graduate college, and I have another son who's working in a factory. I don't care what you do, as long as you got a motor to do something. You know what I'm saying? Something. Yep. And I have a funny feeling like school just wasn't for you. Doesn't mean you're dumb. Doesn't mean anything. It just means it wasn't for you. And
it just means I'm uneducated.
Yeah, I guess. But there's different education, right? You get what do they call it? They'll call it the school of hard knocks or some stupid phrase like that. But I would think that, overall, wait, you have family, you put a kid through college, you got grandkids going through college?
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me.
You look like you're a pretty happy guy. Yeah. It doesn't matter. No.
Does no good to be unhappy.
No. I do have to ask this, though. What were your parents like when you dropped out?
They weren't very happy.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Not a lot they could.
No, my old man kicked me in the ass. Said, if you're not going to school, you're going to work. So I went to work construction.
And said,
biggest mistake he ever made. If he would have told me I had to stay home and do nothing, I would have went to school.
Yeah. So you went and you worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right away. Almost like an apprenticeship then. Almost.
No, basically a labor.
Yeah, that's what I know. But I mean, like you're learning on the job. It was on the job learning. Because I remember when I was 15, I worked on construction in the summer. And they used to send me up on the roofs to sweep the sawdust off before the guys came up and laid down. And I go, man, if OSHA ever came through on these prefab condos where everything came in and then they put the roof up, I'm up 2 stories on plywood sweeping.
And if you step on that sawdust, it's like marbles.
Well, that's the thing. You'll slide. Yeah, 100%. It's like ice. So they wanted it swept off, but they put me up there doing it. And I go, man, today, if you had a 15-year-old sweeping off a second, no, they ain't having it.
We got people in Baca we do the same thing with. Yeah, go stand in traffic and stop them so we all can pull out nice and easy.
All right, we'll take a moment. Okay. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to get back to the level 1, but if you got to take a break.
No, I don't. Tell me about the level 1.
One of the things our kids they get what we call the Baca bear.
Okay.
So when we show up, they present them with the bear. Everybody present signs the bear, and we all hug it.
Really?
And we tell them we're filling it with love, hugs, and strength, and it's never ending. So anytime they need it.
I do have another question.
So if you think kickball is funny, imagine pulling up to a park and you got 15 bikers.
But here's my real question. Here's my real question, and I won't ask you. I do have to know Ghost Rider. Come on, how many tears have shed? I would probably tear up, putting love in a bear, and knowing the kid's story. How many tears? I want numbers.
One thing you can't do it in court. You got to be strong in court.
In court, but I'm saying this isn't a park. You're giving the bear, and you're trying to infuse the kid.
Many times in the past, in the beginning, things will happen that'll bring a tear.
Yeah.
We talk about it so much now that we don't get teared up now.
Yeah.
But I mean, we tell stories of presentations with workers and everything, and they tear up.
You're human. About it. You're human. How can you not?
Kids are our future.
Yeah.
You keep asking these questions, you're going to tear up when he punches you in the face.
He's gentle.
So the other thing
over here.
I'll take the rings off for work.
They get their own cuts.
Oh, they do.
That's cool.
Look at that.
They
That
get
is
the cut,
really cool.
They get their names on it.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider, hold that one up.
Look at
This
They
was
get
This was a
support
real
the
kid.
mission patch, and then we have 2 different back patches that they get to choose from.
Wow.
One with flames, one without.
Yeah.
And then they get their bottom rocker. It says, "I will not live in fear."
That's awesome.
So
That's
we
cool.
present this to them at the level 1, and it's their choice.
Yeah.
If you want to wear it, go ahead and put it on. If you don't, we understand that too.
Yeah.
Everything we do is about giving them
choice.
choices
Yeah.
and their voice back. They've
Right.
been told,
100%.
don't tell anybody
Yes.
this.
Oh,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
why we're like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
You know, if they're standing there going, we're like, what do you want to do? Well, I don't know. It's whatever you want.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want. And
We do the Macarena sometimes.
we do.
You want to see a bunch of bikers do the Macarena. I'm security, so I'm not in the group that does the Macarena.
I knew you'd find a way to sneak out of
I
that.
stay
But
out
his
of it.
hand always goes up first when it's water slide time and sea
And I
breeze.
stand back there and laugh my ass off. And water, we've had level 1s where the kid has put us all in the pool.
Really?
30 bikers in an in-ground pool.
Yeah.
Dropped our cuts in the
Yeah.
pool. She called us out by name. When we got out, it was only like half full.
Everybody to water displacement. It's also a chemistry experiment, right? Along the way, Earth science. I don't remember what it is. What got you involved? You said 2 years. What brought you in? Was it Ghost Rider that brought you in?
No, actually, Wolf, who's another member.
Well, okay.
I've known him for a long time.
Yeah.
And
Did you
I
meet
just
Ghost
couldn't
Rider
do it.
through Baca?
Yep.
And you became that fast of friends that you're spending like summer. That's awesome. That's great.
Riding a lot together, doing
Yeah.
a lot of things together, and yeah, we've become pretty close. Yeah, I mean, and his wife, they live close by too, so I usually go over there, and then we ride to wherever we're riding to meet everybody else, and we've been doing agency presentations together for over a year now, and
We were in Pennsylvania last year together. We rode down there for a level 1 that was high security.
Really?
It was down by the Maryland border.
Okay.
They called out to different states and wanted people there.
Yeah.
And within 2 days, there was 6 states there probably.
Wow.
I've been to Arizona.
All for this.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
a level 2 in Arizona.
Level 2. What's a level 2?
So when there's immediate danger,
Okay.
intimate danger,
Yeah.
there's threats.
Yeah.
That one in Arizona, the mother and her boyfriend of the child
Mm-hmm.
got stabbed the morning of court.
They got stabbed?
Yep.
Oh.
Trying to get the kid not to testify.
Wow.
We've had BACA members attacked with baseball bats. We've had BACA members shot.
Who?
The perps, they take shit seriously. They get
Yeah.
really pissed off at us.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's not you're doing good work then.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're doing good work. Why don't we take a moment? I want to ask you guys to take a step away from Baca, but talk about bikes and safety and just in terms of riding today. I was saying to these guys, I feel like, driving used to be the activity. It was the main thing you did. Now it's the thing you do while you check your text messages and your email.
Saw
And,
bikes out this morning going to work.
well, I
At
would think
5 o'clock this morning.
I
they
would
were out
think
riding
I was
at
going to
60.
ask if
Let's
you
go.
guys were riding today. I mean, the weather's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
But we'll get into all that next. But first.